Why do you chase foreign productivity systems instead of understanding the actual principles?
Have you ever asked yourself that?
Seriously, think about it for a second. You're out here collecting productivity techniques like Pokémon cards, Korean study methods, Japanese discipline secrets, Ivy League hacks. You've got a whole folder of screenshots, don't you? Saved Instagram posts about ancient wisdom and samurai mindset. And how many of them are you actually using? Yeah, that's what I thought. Let me be real with you. I did the exact same thing. For 2 years, I was obsessed with finding the perfect system. If it had an exotic name or came from a different culture, I wanted it. I convinced myself that somewhere out there was this secret method that would finally make me productive. I tried Korean study techniques, downloaded apps with names I couldn't even pronounce, watched videos about how Japanese students embody discipline like samurai warriors. I bought into all of it, spent 6 months chasing these systems. You know what I learned? They all teach the same damn principles. The only difference? The branding. Kaizen, Pomodoro, time blocking, deep work. Strip away the labels and you'll find the same core concepts wrapped in different packaging. Small, consistent actions. Environment design. Focus management. That's it. But here's what nobody tells you. Calling something by a Japanese name doesn't make it work better. The technique isn't magic. The psychology behind it is what matters. So today, I'm going to break down 6 techniques everyone's raving about. The ones with fancy Japanese names that make you feel like you're unlocking ancient secrets. But I'm not going to romanticize them. I'm going to show you what they actually are, why they work, and how to use them without the cultural cosplay. Because here's the thing. These principles work, but not because they're Japanese. They work because they're based on how your brain actually functions. First up, Kaizen. Everyone loves this one. The samurai's rule of 1%. Constant improvement. Sounds deep, right? Let me translate. Make small progress every day instead of burning yourself out with unrealistic goals. That's it. That's Kaizen. I spent 3 months trying to live by Kaizen, like it was some spiritual practice. Here's what I actually did. I studied for 20 minutes a day instead of trying to cram 5 chapters in one night. Wow. Revolutionary. But here's why it actually works. And this is what matters. Your brain builds habits through repetition, not intensity. Every time you repeat an action, you strengthen the neural pathway. Small daily actions literally rewire your brain over time. The problem is, we're taught that bigger is better. 5-hour study sessions, all-nighters, hustle culture BS. But intensity without consistency is just burnout waiting to happen. Here's what I learned the hard way. I used to set these massive goals. I'm going to study 8 hours today. And I'd last maybe 2 hours before my brain turned into mush. Then I'd feel like crap, skip the next day, and the cycle would repeat. When I switched to 25-minute focus sessions, just one concept, fully understood, repeated daily, everything changed. Not because of some Japanese wisdom, because I stopped fighting my brain's natural limitations. Micro wins build rhythm. Rhythm builds mastery. It's not poetic, it's neuroscience. Next, Shisa Kanko. This one sounds weird as hell. Speak your focus into reality. Japanese train workers point at things and say tasks out loud. Signal green. Door closed. Train moving. And everyone's like, wow. What mystical Eastern practice is this? It's called activating your prefrontal cortex. Your brain has an autopilot mode. You've experienced it. You're reading a textbook, eyes moving across the words, but you're not actually processing anything. You get to the bottom of the page and realize you absorbed nothing. Speaking tasks out loud forces your brain to engage. It's a verbal contract with yourself. When you say, I'm opening my math book, I'll study chapter 3 for 25 minutes with full attention. Your voice gives your brain a command. I tested this for 3 weeks. Before studying, I'd say out loud exactly what I was about to do. It felt ridiculous at first, like I was talking to myself like a crazy person, but it worked. My focus improved by, I don't know, I didn't measure it scientifically, but noticeably. Why? Because I stopped drifting into autopilot mode. This isn't Japanese magic. This is your brain's reticular activating system doing its job. When you verbalize intent, you're telling your brain, this matters. Pay attention. Number 3, Wabi-sabi, mastering the art of imperfection. They repair broken bowls with gold. So beautiful, so philosophical. Translation, stop being terrified of mistakes and learn from them instead. Look, I get it. Bad grades feel terrible. Failed tests make you question everything. I've been there. I once got a 43% on a calculus exam, and I genuinely thought my academic career was over. But here's what changed my perspective completely. I stopped hiding from that failure and started analyzing it like a scientist. I went through every single question I got wrong, not to feel bad about myself, to understand where my thinking broke down. This is what top students actually do. They don't fear bad grades. They study why they failed. They treat mistakes like data, not judgments. Your flaws aren't your weakness. They're your blueprint to mastery. Every wrong answer shows you exactly what you don't understand yet. That's valuable information. Stop chasing the perfect study routine. There is no perfect. Chase an honest one instead. Progress loves imperfection way more than perfection ever will. Here's the shift. Perfection fears progress. Think about that. When you're obsessed with doing everything perfectly, you don't start. You don't experiment. You don't test. You just plan. Forever. Imperfect action beats perfect planning every single time. Fourth technique, Shokunin spirit, the soul of craftsmanship. Someone who dedicates their entire soul to mastering their craft, even if no one's watching. Okay, that one actually sounds cool, but let me translate it to something less romantic. Do quality work because excellence is your identity, not because you want applause. I used to take notes just to get through class. Messy handwriting, incomplete sentences, arrows everywhere pointing to nothing. My notes were garbage because I was just there. Physically present, but mentally checked out. When I started treating note-taking like it mattered, writing with precision, organizing clearly, refining as I went, something clicked. The quality of my work changed because my intention changed. You can copy someone's notes word for word, but you can't copy their energy. You can't copy the intention behind the work. This is the difference between studying for a grade and studying to actually understand something. One is transactional, the other is transformational. When you study with purpose, you don't need external validation. The work itself becomes the reward. That's not mystical. That's intrinsic motivation in action. Fifth, Nemawashi, prepare before you perform. In Japan, before planting a tree, they nurture the soil. In normal language, design your environment before you need willpower. This one changed everything for me. I used to rely purely on discipline. I'm just going to force myself to focus. And I'd sit down to study with my phone next to me, notifications on, 14 tabs open, snacks within reach. Then I'd wonder why I couldn't concentrate. Like, really? You engineered a perfect distraction environment and you're surprised you got distracted? Top students don't have superhuman willpower. They engineer their environment so they don't need it. Before I study now, phone in another room. Not just flipped over, actually in another room. Materials prepped, clear desk, timer set. Mind clear because I'm not making decisions in the moment. When your environment supports your focus, success becomes automatic. You're not rising to your goals through sheer force of will. You're falling to your systems because you made the right choice, the easy choice. Here's the truth. Willpower is a finite resource. You will run out. But a well-designed environment works whether you feel motivated or not. And finally, Gaman, the power to endure without complaint. Quiet strength, dignified suffering. Real talk? This one is just about pushing through when it's hard. That's it. No poetry needed. Every single person who's good at anything has been exactly here. It's 11 p.m. Nothing makes sense. Everyone else is out having fun, and you're stuck on the same problem for the 5th time. Your brain hurts. You're tired. You want to quit, but you don't. You whisper, "Not yet," and you push one more time. Not because it's easy, because it's necessary. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Sometimes studying sucks. Sometimes it's boring, frustrating, and painful. That's not a bug. That's the feature. Pain isn't punishment. It's the tuition fee of getting better at something. Your brain is literally forming new connections, and that process is uncomfortable. The difference between people who succeed and people who don't isn't talent. It's endurance. It's the ability to sit with discomfort and keep going anyway. But here's what nobody tells you. You don't need samurai discipline. You just need one more rep when you want to quit. So let me bring this all together, because here's what actually matters. Stop fighting distractions. Replace them with purpose. Use these 6 principles. I'm not even calling them by their Japanese names anymore because you don't need the branding. 1. Small daily wins compound over time. 2. Speak your tasks out loud to engage your brain. 3. Analyze your failures like data. 4. Study with intention, not just to get it done. 5. Design your environment before you need willpower. 6. Push through one more time when it's hard. That's it. That's the system. No exotic wisdom required. Success isn't about being the smartest person in the room. It's about becoming mentally unshakable through consistent action and environmental design. You don't need Japanese secrets. You don't need Korean methods. You don't need Ivy League hacks. You need to understand universal principles and actually apply them. Stop collecting systems. Start using one. Pick the principle that resonates most, test it for 2 weeks, and see what happens. Because here's the final truth. Your dream self isn't impressed by how many productivity systems you've saved. Your dream self is watching to see what you'll actually do next. Don't study to impress people. Study to transform yourself. Because the day you start mastering these principles, not the labels, the actual principles, you won't just improve your grades. You'll upgrade your entire approach to learning. And that's when everything changes.